Don, we're at the public library. We're talking about election 2010. Your thoughts?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the results. I think this is definitely a vote of lack of confidence in the current administration. We'll see what happens.
What changes would you like to see?
Well, personally, I think Obama is pretty much a hard-line socialist in his heart of hearts. And socialism has never worked anywhere in the world where it's been tried. And often, in many countries in the world, Soviet Union obviously been a good example, but also communist China, Cuba, millions of people have died when the socialists have tried to make the experiment work.
What are the socialist initiatives you see happening here in the United States, Don?
Well, obviously the healthcare agenda is a step toward socialism. But not only that, Obama's extreme anti-business sentiment, which shows itself in so many ways, obviously is against the grain of free enterprise.
What would you suggest be done? What program would you like to see the government initiate to move away from socialism? Should we like Medicare?
Well, I believe in a social safety net.
Social safety net.
But when the safety net becomes a hammock to where people basically can live off the government with no effort, I think we have a problem. And obviously, politicians to win votes have catered to that whole hammock type mentality.
Sure.
Now we are in debt, and we're piling this debt on our children and grandchildren, and that is absolutely immoral to the extreme. I don't think the American people realize how immoral it is. As if if I would go out and use a credit card and rack up a huge debt on that credit card, and then hand it to the next generation to pay. It's immoral.
You know, Don, here in Decatur, one of the great problems we have is no jobs. What are your thoughts and ideas to create jobs here in Decatur, Macon County?
The reason we have no jobs in Illinois is because businesses are taxed way too much. And obviously, a businessman, if he was going to pick a site to start a business, it wouldn't be Illinois. You can cross over to the border, over into Indiana, and drive through small towns, which I've done. Small towns are thriving in Indiana.
Yes.
Very much so. And the reason is because they're not overtaxed. Taxation is the worst thing in the world to generate economic activity.
How does the Indiana tax rate compare to the Illinois tax rate?
Specifically, I couldn't tell you, although I do know as a retired state worker, back when I was working, I've been retired for a while now, but back when I was working, a person doing the same job I was doing for the state of Illinois, who was working in Indiana doing that very same job, could get a job in Illinois doing that job, and his income would double. And that's reflective of Illinois state government. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that so many of the politicians are criminals, to put it bluntly.
Sure. And both parties, or just?
Well, Chicago, the Democratic Party in Chicago has notoriously controlled that city, and has notoriously been pretty criminal in the process.
Sure.
And look at Chicago.
Sure.
Would you send your child to a public school in Chicago? Probably not, and that's a smart decision. As long as we're talking here, I will add this. number one problem we Americans face, in my opinion, is education of our children.
Education.
That will undercut our future faster than anything.
Yes, sir.
Public education in America served a very positive purpose through the early part of the 20th century. It assimilated all these various ethnic groups.
Yes.
And it taught them English. Now we have a system, a public school system, that's undercutting our society. Number one, it's a failure. It's a failure. Why not give each parent a voucher and let the parent choose where they want to send their kid? Americans are entrepreneurial enough to start schools, these private schools. If we would go to a totally voucher system, I believe you would see schools, private schools, popping up all over the place to cater to various religions, to various modes of thought, politics, whatever.
Yes.
But a parent would have a choice where he would want or she would want to send their child to school. And I guarantee you, without any shadow of a doubt, well, even today, we're seeing now that people who homeschool their children, even if the parents, let's say, do not have a college degree, these kids are doing far better than kids in public school. And from what I understand, from what I've read, kids who are public school or homeschool are actually going on to college and to get advanced degrees far more than kids who are in public school.
To take advantage of a great homeschooling effort, one parent or two have to be home.
That's right, and but that's not necessarily true anymore. As I understand it, parents who homeschool are organizing so that it is difficult for a parent to stay home and to educate their children, but they're organizing, and now it's basically what they're forming is essentially, as I see it, is private schools on a small city.
Yes. Don Carmichael, interesting conversation. Thanks for talking to us today, election 2010. Good luck to you. With Wesley at the Decatur Public Library on Election Day. What are your thoughts and ideas about Election Day? What do you think? What problems do you think we're facing today?
Well, the economy is not very good around here, and finding work's a little tough and everything. But the election stuff on the news and stuff, I don't like all the negative stuff. You don't know which way to go. You hear negative things about everybody, so you just try and make the best decisions you can.
Yeah. Jobs. What thoughts or ideas do you have for getting jobs here in Decatur, Macon County, Wesley?
Well, for me in my position, felons have a hard time getting work. Maybe a little bit more people working with that aspect and stuff. The people that's been convicted in years past.
Give a guy a chance.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks for talking to us today on Election Day 2000, Wesley. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, Brenda, we're here on Election Day 2010 at the Decatur Public Library. What are your thoughts about Election Day today?
I hope everybody gets out and votes. I'm thankful personally for the Tea Party movement, and I'm hoping that that message comes through in the way that people vote today. I am not pro-Republican. I am not pro-Democrat. I am pro-fire them all, get them out, and let's get back to lower taxes, less government, get out of our way, protect our borders, work on the infrastructure for the road system so that we can carry on with commerce, and beyond that, get out of our lives.
Yes.
So even if the Republicans get back in and take over, they've got some explaining to do.
Some explaining to do. Yes. Yeah. Jobs in Decatur, Macon County. Any thoughts or ideas of how we get jobs here?
Well, I really think the key is for the government to get their hands out of our homes. They're always about tax the rich. Well, the rich are rich because they know how to handle their money and create jobs. And when you put more taxes on the rich, that takes away the jobs. Well, that's the way I see it. And it's it seems pretty simple.
Yes.
I'm all for that. Yeah, because I don't want my property taxes to go up.
Okay.
You know, if we can tag it on as a sales tax, and it's not, it's my understanding, it's not going to be for food, it's not going to be towards gas, the things that we need to live. I'm good.
Yes.
The schools need it, then that's fine. But I just saw this movie about Waiting for Superman on this past weekend, and it was a real eye-opener. And I'm thinking we need to work there. I'll take whatever heat. I think the teachers' unions have maybe gone too far. You know, they were very much needed to begin with, and have done a lot of great things. But now they're kind of justifying their existence. And this whole idea of tenure, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, when there are teachers that don't quite make the grade themselves, there should be a way to give that.
Sure. What can be done to get good teachers?
Well, I think you're born with it. You know, people are born teachers. And that passion is just placed there. I think by God, to begin with, people are either gifted with that or they're not.
I guess the question is, if the feeling is that we don't have enough good teachers, what can be done to get more
I
good
think
teachers?
there's plenty of good
There's
teachers.
plenty.
It's just a matter of there are tenured teachers that are not doing as well, that if they're out of there, you're going to make way for the better teachers.
What are your thoughts about Peyton Lyle moving a number of jobs from Decatur to Hoffman Estates?
I don't like that at all. Britain owns it. They don't live here. They have not experienced the history that family, that company has with this town, and it breaks my heart. And I guess my biggest thing is that I don't want to see that Stanley office building. But you know, the jobs are important for Decatur. But I also understand that somehow or another the state gave incentive money to Tate and Lyle to try to get them to move there, which that doesn't make sense to me.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that go on in
Yes.
the government that don't make sense to me.
Well, here we are at the Decatur Public Library. In the last budget, the city council cut the library budget by about $500,000. Your thoughts about the library and financing for it?
Well, we all need to live within our means, and I think the situation we're in the country now is just sort of exemplary as to how we can live as a society. I feel like many of us have lived, I know my family did, for a season. We kind of lived above our means, using charge cards in ways that we shouldn't have, kind of adding to our living via charge cards. And I think everybody's just got to tighten up their belt and live within their means. We cut up all of our credit cards about 4 years and 3 months ago, not that I'm counting. But it's been a struggle, to just whatever you have, that is what you live with. And I come from parents that grew up in the Depression, and they get that. You eke out a living however way you can for your family. And I think that as all private citizens tighten up their belts, that unfortunately everybody else is going to tighten up their belts too.
It's been great to have you with us today. Thank you for sharing your views with our community.
My pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
You too.